started to spread, and I started to network in the field of filmmaking and all that. And then there were a couple of competitions. One was in Riyadh, one was in LA, one was in Dubai, and I applied here and there. And thankfully, I won in Riyadh and I won in Dubai. And I was like a semi-finalist in Los Angeles. وبعدين I started my master's degree online in screenwriting. So I finished a year of my master's degree. It's a 2 years program. I have 1 more year left. And in the midst of this, I got a job in Dubai in production. Dubai, I spent a year there. I learned so much. And then I like the cinema industry is now being like revived, you know, and I wanted to come back. So I was trying to find a job so I can come back to it. And I found a job, alhamdulillah, perfect position, perfect salary, perfect everything. I'm really happy with it. And then I started working here in December. So I came back in December with the company, and I'm a writer full time, and that's something I never even imagined was possible like years ago. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm a screenwriter.
Wow, Afnan, very impressive. I'm so proud of you. Afnan, يعني forever you were so creative. And I remember even in Effat, you used to write plays. And I remember that I used to play in your plays. And it was amazing. And I'm really happy that you found your passion and you're doing exactly what you want to do in life. And that's very impressive. So can you tell everyone what did you used to do in Effat and SG 2012 and later on? What did you do in terms of activities?
So when I first came into Effat, before Effat, I was very depressed for many, many years. I couldn't find my place in school. I just felt different. I didn't know who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be. When I entered Effat, I had a goal, which is just be normal, do what everyone does. So I literally went into the university and I was like, look around, what are other people doing, and just copy them. So like الناس بتسلم على بعضها, people are saying hi to each other. So I started to say hi to people. And I used to go to Dr. Rania Ibrahim's office every morning to say hi. I didn't know that people didn't say hi every day. So they were impressed of the girl that's so happy all the time. And I used to forcibly smile because I was trying to pull myself out of depression. And I know that when you do it, even if you don't feel happy inside, if you smile, it helps. So I used to just smile all the time and just push myself to do things. And from there, I started to just participate in everything. I was in the swim team for some time. I was taking French classes, German classes. I was everywhere to a point that confused people a lot. And then 2 years in my sophomore year, Madiha Khayat was the president of student government, and I joined her team. She gave me a project to handle, which is TEDx. And through TEDx, Sarah was handling, I remember, the PR, I think, and sponsorship. And Isra Al-Qassas was with us. I don't know if Meral and Hedaya were in that project too or not, but no, okay. But basically, so that was like the TEDx project was supposed to be under my management. And at the same time, funnily enough, I was doing a play outside of Effat. I was acting in a play, and I cared about the play way more than TEDx. So then the year after, me and Sarah coming out of, we call ourselves Madiha graduates. We both came out of SG, and we were like, what do we do next? Yalla, let's run for student government. So she led her campaign, I led my campaign. And from the campaign to the actual student presidency, Sarah has made an unforgettable impact and have broken have had so many breakthroughs, and have done things that were like not even like imaginable to a student, that a student can do that. I mean, there are so many moments. I think she definitely changed what student government means and what it looks like. She made it from like a small student activity to like and pretty much a citywide force to be recognized. She did a lot. I can honestly say that from TEDx, I've been to SG, because when we had our campaign, she won, and then I became her vice president. So I was still part of the big management team, and I was struggling through it all, because even though I have good skills, I can speak well, I can present well, I can, I can do the whole presentation thing, but I'm terrible at like dealing with people, managing people, following up with people. That's not my thing. What I do is that I sit on a laptop and I write, or give me a stage and I'll get on it and I'll perform. So it was, I think for me, I learned exactly what I am not in that time period. And I know that we both, like, after that moved on from it, but it's kind of like, I kind of hope that it caused a lot of tension between me and Sada, because I'm being real, but I kind of hope that she always sees that I have had nothing against her and I was just dealing with my own self during that time. And then after that, it was senior year, it was more.
Yeah, I think it was a good growth experience for both of us to just understand each other. And I think this is what Effat allows you to do, is to be engaged on a level that really resembles real life. It's not just about you going to school, studying, and going back home. No, go experience real life on real projects, try doing teamwork, and then try to see yourself. How do you act on certain, how do you behave? How do you see yourself in different situations? And I think at that moment, it was a growth experience for both of us, that we should accept each other differences. I was the very organized, structured person. Afnan, she was the very creative, the one who was with these like wild ideas, and it was really a pleasure to work with you, Afnan. And I'm really happy that it allowed both of us to discover ourselves at the end, yani. So I love you so much. So I'm really happy.
Well, I love you too, and I want to say to I want to say to whoever is listening, graduate or not, you would be like, try to get involved as much as possible. Rule as a student, which is, if it's for free, do it. Because after university, your student status is gone, and when you're a student, you have a status. You can make mistakes as a student. No one can blame you. You're allowed to make mistakes, but afterwards, if you make mistakes, it's kind of costly. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Sana Bahir, because she just commented, and I really consider her my second mother for real. She's been with me from day one, and I have come to her even after I fed, and I still come to her every now and then for just advice and questions. And I love my entire department, students to teachers, because they're my people, and I get them and they get me, so I love them.
So we love translation department and all translation faculty. So thank you, Afnan. I think let's move to someone who was with us very much active in student government, Hedaya. Hedaya was a star, honestly. Hedaya was always there with her camera, capturing all moments and making it happen. So Hedaya, introduce yourself, tell us what are you doing now in life, and tell us about your daughter as well, and tell everyone what are you doing.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Well, my name is Hedaya Menkabo. I graduated from Effat with a bachelor's in electrical computer engineering. And I think my batch especially set the trend that ECE students are not just nerds who like focus on work, but we actually go all over the place, and we basically bring the life to Effat. Of course, some other departments try to contribute, but there's just no competition there. We set the bar too high.
How many ECE SG president? We need to count, right?
Yeah. First, I'd like to say that actually Afnan was one of the reasons I was very excited to start at Effat, because she was the one presenting for the students on the orientation day. And when I saw her presenting and speaking, and then I realized that she was a student, not a faculty, I was like, oh, I want to be like that girl. I want to be her friend. And when we were going around the tour, I was like trying to walk next to her, asking her question about this and that. And then I don't think we became immediately friends, but like eventually we just had to be friends. So it was, I mean, the environment of Effat is very welcoming for all of the people who want to start a new beginning, who want to start new projects. And also my first year of student government was with Sarah. And Sarah is the kind of person who sees where you can go, and she pushes you even further than that. I remember like how many tasks she used to give me. I was like, I can handle this, but then she gives me even more. And then by the end, I realized that I was able to actually handle much more than I thought I could, and she was able to see that. Um, it was a very, very active year for me. My GPA was kind of damaged by that, but
I think all of us, we did not have a really good GPA that year.
but I mean, the results speak far more. I mean, GPA is not what everyone should aim to have in life, because after you graduate, that's it. That's where your GPA loses its big effect. After that, it's just what you learned, your skills that you gained throughout the years, throughout the journey. So basically, after I graduated from Effat, I was, before I actually graduated, I was working as a part-time in an engineering company. And the interesting thing is, it was a mechanical engineering field. And this has actually been my goal ever since I was young. And I was actually looking for a mechanical engineering degree in Saudi Arabia, because it was difficult for me to leave Saudi Arabia and study abroad. So Effat was the closest thing. It was electrical engineering, not really what I wanted, but the university seemed lively enough. The majors were similar enough. They're all engineering, so I could like see my way through it. So as soon as I graduated, I went back to my actual dream, and I pursued mechanical engineering. And today I am almost 6 years now working at this mechanical engineering company, and I'm so happy, alhamdulillah. I got married while working there. I had my daughter while working there. My daughter used to come to the office with me. I think she's the youngest employee over there. It's been a very nice experience, and I think my life at Effat played a big part in why I am now why I hold the position that I do right now in the company I'm working in. And I think even though we left Effat hasn't really left us. So it's like the people that we graduated with, the people who are still there, the faculty, the employees, the instructors, everyone, they go on with us even after we graduate. We still connect with them from time to time. We have such gatherings where we meet the alumni, where we meet the new students, the past students. And also when I was a student, I used to take courses with other majors. And I think took more elective courses than I did major courses at some point. And I was like trying to figure out if I could just major in elective, but there was no such option. But I took some courses with the VDP students, and I remember when the major began, or they started the major, I used to take all of the new courses with them. The students thought I was a VDP student, but actually I was like, I think a junior or senior in in electrical engineering. So they were kind of shocked, you're graduating, how come? And I'm like, I'm not a VDP. But it was very nice. I mean, I saw the beginning of the VDP department, and it was very nice. And also I took some electives in German and in other things. And of course, my thing was photography. So I used to kind of cover all of the events that went on at Effat. And sometimes there would be more than one event happening at the same time. So you'll just see me running around with my cameras. And of course, I had my team with me, my fellow colleagues who used to do photography with me. We shared the same passion. And it was a very nice experience. And I developed a lot of my skills. And they also hopefully learned from me some things about photography and about how to manage the projects and so on. So yes, I think in a nutshell, that's what I did.
I really do miss you, Hidayah, and I really do miss our days with your camera everywhere, recording every event. I think you have an archive of all Effat events by now.
Yes.
I hope that you have it somewhere, because I think PR team in Effat will demand these videos. We used to
every
do
now and then they come again. They're like, do you have pictures of that TEDx, of that Ignite, of that?
yes. So I'll move to someone who I love so much and I love dearly. Meral. Meral was someone who was very active as well with us in SG. Um, 2012, but then she kept being active in even the SG afterwards. Meral, tell us about yourself and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Meral. I graduated from Effat in December 2015.
You're not
January.
ECE, right? You're
No,
not
I'm in
ECE.
psychology, right? All through and through. I joined Effat in January 2012. So that was like half term of Madiha's time. And I remember, like, I come from Manerat, and that was like, we were starting student government over there as well, like a student council. And I was like, oh man, they're starting this stuff when I'm graduating. Like, what is this? I want to be active and stuff. And I remember Sada Harthi was the second person I met at Effat. Like, the absolute, okay, Isra al-Qassas is someone I was with in Manarat, so I don't really count her as an Effat person. But Sada was like the first Effat person. And I remember she came in and she's just like, oh, whatever. And she just pulled out her laptop in the middle of the Effat dining hall. And she's like, oh, this is what I want to work on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, we can actually do things. And she was talking about talking to professors and talking to student affairs and Dr. Rania. And I was just like, what is this girl? Like, are we allowed to do that as students? And it was just really interesting. And then I met like Bushra, and then I met Hedaya and Afnan. It's just been good. Like, alhamdulillah, we've been friends for like 8 years now. And it's crazy. Like, subhanallah, we've been to each other's like weddings and I don't know whatnots, but alhamdulillah. What am I doing currently? I was working in 2 different places. I was working for Challenging Children, which is a new ideology in Jeddah, which is very much needed, where they help students with special needs adjust into mainstream schools. And after that, I was working at a center called Hope Center for Special Needs. And that runs till 8 p.m. So I was the teacher over there. So it's really nice to see special needs in like 2 different platforms in Jeddah. And I'm really happy with the progress that there is now than there was before. So yeah. What else do you want me to say?
So you joined SG 2012, 2013, yes. My team, and then you joined the SG afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Esra's team. So what did you use to do in both?
So I was secretary for Sada, and I remember Sada told me, she was like, look, just because it says secretary doesn't mean it's like actual secretarial duties. It means you have to make sure that I'm human to everyone. And I remember this, and I was like, what do you mean? She's like, no, when I'm focused, I forget that these people are humans. You need to help me remind me that these guys are humans. And I was like, okay. And wow, that was a task. Because Sada kept us on our toes. I remember I joined Toastmasters alongside SG, and I thought it would be like a piece of cake. It wasn't. Sada was like, at first I was just like, oh my God, Sada's being so hard on me. But then I realized like, no, this is like actual life, because I get to manage like 15 different things all at the same time now. And I remember I was really exhausted from this meeting we had for Toastmasters, and I came back from Dr. Andrea's office, and I like plopped down into the little large like floor cushion we had in the SG office, which was a beautiful office, by the way. And Sada went like, where's the report? I asked you for the report. And I'm just like, Sada, you can see I'm actually tired. I'm exhausted. She's like, no, I don't care. You have to give me the report. And this was like at 5:30.
I don't care.
No, but it was really funny. Like, I like that you pushed me towards like getting things done. So it was really good. And then for Isra, like Isra was president, and then I was their vice president the next year. So that was good. Like Isra and I had like a good divide between she would handle the Arabs, I would handle the non-Arabs, and it was a good mix. But by the way, I need to add something for Hidayah. Like I joke about this with her as well. Like I feel like she did a bachelor's in student government as well, because she was there for like everyone, like all the time, all 5 years.
So you did SG 2012, and then what did you do again, Hidayah? So you did Isra as well?
I was there every year. I never quit. Until I think until after I graduated, the student government team would still come to me with questions, and I used to. Like I went even to Effat a couple of times to help them out with a couple of things. I'm always there.
That was cool. So I'll go to another SG president who used to be member of our team, and then she grew to be an SG president afterwards. Lujan, can you tell us more about yourself and introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Yeah, hi ladies. I really miss these conversations and chats, honestly. I remember when I first joined Effat, I think on my second year, I saw the students are going back and forth, organizing events and doing something outside of the classrooms, you know. And I remember I stopped one of the SG president. I told her, hey, listen, I want to be part of your team. Tell me what I can't do anything. Just tell me what you want me to do. And I remember that time she told me, "Khalas, work on Sarah on some small workshops and projects." And I think Sarah, that was one of the first projects that we worked on. And the next year, Sarah, you've been the president, the SG president. We worked closely together. We did a couple of very good events and workshops and all these stuff. And this gave me a very great passion, and you pushed me to do that, honestly, to nominate myself for 2014 SG to be a president. Alhamdulillah, we won, and we did a very great success. It was a very great experience when it came to the self-development. It was a very great experience when it came to the engagement and to take an ownership of something that under your name and under your team name. So it was a turning point in my life, honestly, when I was at Effat. I graduated from Effat in 2016, holding a bachelor degree in electrical and computer engineering. So I'm an ECE student. And then I started working on oil and gas industry. I never ever thought I would work in oil and gas, honestly. But Effat pushed me to do this when I did my internship in oil and gas industry. None of my families are in Aramco or such an oil and gas industry company. So I'm the first one. So it was just a new experience, you know. And now I've been with the company for more than 3 years. And the good thing that I would like to mention, we were talking about Sarah and the ladies, everyone used to came to me from the leadership team, and they told me, hey, Lujan, do you know anyone from Effat students who want to join us in the company? So ladies, we left a very good impression into the leadership management of American, German, all the international companies. So I think let's keep it up. Let's do the good. Let's spread the good passion, and let's do what Effat taught us to do and what we learned from Effat.
Thank you, Lujan. That's so true. I think I remember when I was, I remember in 2009, I went to Effat for the first time before I actually joined in 2010. And I remember I went because there was so they were like honoring all the girls like who were #1 on Makkah region, who had a really high GPA. So I went there because I was honored. And then Dr. Haifa came on the stage and she spoke to all the high school students, which I was among them. And she was like, in Effat, we graduate leaders. And this is exactly what you pinpointed. Right. What Effat really bestowed on us is this leadership and this ability to see projects and see things go through, and helped us to build these ethics and build this passion in us since we were students. So when we went out of university, this is what happened. So you saw really good calibers in the corporate world, and girls with really good passion and really good skills, who are very well educated. At the same time, they have really good personalities, and they know how to hold themselves. So as you said, truly, Effat did build this in us and gave us this environment that allowed us to discover ourselves and allowed us to just express ourselves, and this was amazing.
Agree. Yeah, and one of the things that whenever I start introducing myself to anyone in the company, it's either he knows Effat or he doesn't. I don't care. From where you have been graduated? The answer that he's waiting is from Saudi or abroad, right? So I graduated from Effat University in Jeddah here in Saudi Arabia. So I was like, I said Effat with the proud, and don't tell me you don't know Effat because you have to.
Yeah, I think we're all proud Effatis, honestly. And Effat have taught us a lot. So I'll go now to another Effatis who always as well kept me human as Meral did, Bushra. Bushra was member of the SG, and she's one of the most beautiful souls I ever met in my life.
Thank you.
So Bushra, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So Anna, I joined Effat in 2011. I graduated 2014 as organizational psychology. During my period in Effat, I think I was pretty much more involved with the activities and the clubs and the SG than in my actual classes. So I was a member in the psychology club. I was a member in SG for a couple of years. And I think what got me into SG was when I first joined Effat, one of my cousins was friends with Madiha and that group. And because they were psychology students and I was a psychology student as well, so that got my feet wet, as they say. I got to see how SG works, what they do, what they can do, what are the possibilities. And I remember I was so amazed, just like Afnan said, I believe, do we students really have that impact on the university, on literally the entire university, not only as students? We were able to contact all professors, all doctors, all teachers. We were able to go into the top management offices. We were able to discuss ideas. So that until today, every time I reflect back on my experience in Effat, I'm amazed by how much Effat really gave us the space and the freedom to do so, and with the right amount of support. So I think we can all agree that we never felt too pressured to accomplish anything, or even personally, I never felt like I was being controlled in any way, neither intellectually, nor logistically, nor financially. And this is, I think, was one of the main highlights for me being an Effat graduate. It was such a holistic experience for me. It was very human in the sense of the community. And even if for example, I was a psychology student, so I was in the engineering building, but whenever I went to the business building, I never felt there was a disconnect. Whenever I went to the architecture building, there was no disconnect. So the sense of community in Effat is just so amazing. So that's from the human point of view. From the academic point of view, of course, we can never disagree on how amazing all our teachers were, and the doctors, and they really motivated us to excel in our studies. And from an activities and a leadership and personality building point of view, for me, that was the biggest piece, honestly. And in SG specifically, with you, Sarah, I don't really remember what was my role, but I remember, I didn't really have a very specific role. I remember, I was all over the place. I don't know, I feel like I was a kind of like a dark horse. If you ever needed anything, and no one was around to do it, I would go and do it. That also gave me a lot of exposure to the different parts that go into creating a project or an event. And I remember when we were working on Ignite, the idea that Ignite was an event for all of Jeddah, not just Effat, not just the universities of Effat, not just the community. It was for all of Jeddah, and getting speakers from all over the place, creating the stadium. And that was so amazing to me. And us students, Effat students, have the ability to do such amazing events. Whenever, yeah, I have a lot of the things that I have in my personality right now, when it comes to work ethics, when it comes to presentation skills, when it comes to knowing my self-worth. Like if I go, I've changed jobs almost 3 times now in the past 5 years of my life. So every time I went into a new organization, I never felt like I don't have an impact or that I cannot do anything. And I believe a very, very big part of that comes from my experience in Effat. Because as I said, you're just a member of a club, but it's not just that. You have all the resources available for you. You have all the decision-making possibilities, and yeah. Currently, I just recently moved to Aramco in Al Khobar, and I remember when I first joined them, I felt like again in a place where I don't know exactly what my role is, but I can do anything. Just give me the task, give me the goal, and I'll gladly do it. So I kind of remembered my experience in Effat the very first month when I joined Aramco, and it's always a nice thing to connect back to and reflect back to the experiences that we had in Effat and the friendships that were made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you know how to navigate through ambiguity.
Exactly.
You created memorable experiences, Bushra, honestly. So
Yeah.
all of these events, all of these activities, you were part of them, and you had a huge role in ensuring that everything was on track and everyone was doing what they're supposed to do. So so your role was the president as well. So you had a lot of impact, honestly. I'm so happy to see how you are doing now. You're growing beautifully and doing things that you really like in life. So I'm happy for you. So the last but not least, Leena Babsail. She was member of the student government, and she's an amazing entrepreneur. I'm really happy that you're joining us tonight, Leena. Can you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Hello, everyone. I'm Leena Babsail. I graduated as an electrical engineer. And first of all, I want to talk about the things I love about Effat. I love that the community was so diverse. Do you agree with that, Sarah?
Definitely. I
like
think
like from
really
the first year, I had to meet people from all around the world, and this was very interesting to me. Being exposed to other cultures was really, really important for self-growth. The second thing is participating in with you to lead the Ignite event, if you remember. Again, working in a real life project, aside from the things we've been doing as students, really helped us grow. Do you understand? Again, we participated in many domestic competitions, international competitions. Also, that gave us a lot of self-confidence. Which doesn't happen in any other university, by the way. And we had the privilege to be in Effat and to experience that. However, I would like to talk about myself. I didn't really shine as a student, and this is very important, being honest about our experiences as individuals, like Afnan did. By the way, Afnan, I loved your honesty. It is very it's very important to be it's very important to be honest about the journey. So I didn't really shine as I had the potential to shine, but as a student I didn't do much. I felt like I could do more, but I didn't. But that didn't stop me. The reason why I'm saying this is a lot of people will somehow join Effat or other universities, and they're not gonna feel that self-fulfillment, and that's okay. So once I graduated, I applied everywhere, and I actually got rejected many times. And for a whole year, I did nothing. And I thought that's it, you know. So the other year I applied again. I've grown like in a mature perspective, like not really, but something changed. I did a lot of interviews after I got accepted, of course, but then I'm the one who refused this time to accept any job. I didn't see myself being just an average and I'm not like being an employee in a company is a very nice thing, but it was not for me. And I'm so happy that I've realized this early in life. Like, it didn't take me that long. Again, why I'm saying this, because a lot of people attacked me for starting my own business. As Sarah knows, I don't know if you guys know, I did my own business aside from engineering. I started my own company called Honest. We sell food products, and now I'm responsible for a huge team. After a lot of people actually attacked me for starting my own company without having a job, like, you don't have any experience, what are you doing? But I forced myself into doing it, and now it's a very successful business. So now I feel like I'm shining, but I didn't as a student. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do your best as a student. But if you didn't feel like shining or reaching that high level, I was very inspired actually by you and Isra. You guys were doing so many things. At some point I felt not depressed, but I wanted to do more, but I couldn't at that stage, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing, you know. So few years later, actually 2 years ago, I started another company in construction, and I got a lot of deals, alhamdulillah. And it's again, I feel like I'm shining again. And now I'm co-founding in another tech company. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just hoping that my story could like inspire those who feel like they're not in their place all the time. You know what I mean? This is very important. Like, this is why it was important for me to be here today for those people, you know? We all have potential. True. But somehow, there are some stages, and like Afnan said, she didn't really feel like she was doing her best. She was feeling depressed. She's at some point tried to push herself, but she couldn't. The most important thing that you always do your best. True. until you make it. Do your best until you make it. So yeah, thank you so much.
That's a very powerful message, Leena. Thank you. And I want to echo that Effat gives you that environment and that possibility to discover yourself, to try something new, to push yourself beyond your limit. And I remember when I joined Effat, my own experience, I came in 2010. And Noor Al-Anizi, if you remember, guys, and like we mentioned today, Noor Al-Anizi and Isra and Madiha, and hi to all of them. We truly love them because they impacted all of us. And I remember seeing Noor, who's an ECE student, doing all of these huge events and activities and showing me what I could possibly do. And my entire life, I've been an A+ student. And when I joined Effat, I said, I don't want to be an A+ student. I just want to know who I am. And it wasn't the success. It wasn't through being an SG president, creating all of that huge events and huge activities and trying to make memorable experiences for students. It's what happened to me after SG. That shock of seeing myself and trying to understand all my flaws. Because when I was in Effat, when I was in SG, it was a very intense experience. I remember I burned myself because I was trying to do everything. I was so passionate. I wanted to do everything. But once student government stopped, I was trying to come with the idea of who really I am. Am I the SG president? Am I the ECE student? Am I the daughter? Who am I exactly? And because of doing that, because of being in such an intense experience, I came to realize myself and understand myself and allow myself to be vulnerable, to allow myself to fail. I never wanted to fail in my life. I always wanted to be an A+ student. I always wanted to be the best, the star. Now I enjoy being in the dark. I enjoy not shining. This is what I look for in life. I don't have social media. I'm not looking to be glamorous somewhere and talk about my success, because success is something that you define for yourself. It's not what the society tell you. It's not what your family tells you. It's not what anyone tells you. Success is what it means to you. Success is maybe being able to do 10 push-ups because you cannot do any. Success to you is something that you define. So thank you, Leena, because it's a really powerful message that you shine in your own way, in your own time, in the way that you see relevant to you, regardless of
Exactly.
other tell you. So maybe Effat gave us this opportunity to like try to shine and find ourselves and find our passion, but give us this opportunity to reflect as well after doing such
Yeah.
experiences, doing all of these clubs, all of these SG activities, all of these events. Yeah.
Sarah,
So
can I also say something about this?
yes, please.
So as I said, when I first joined Effat, I had a relative who was already there. So she by that time she was a junior. So seeing her and her friends doing all these amazing things and being so academically excelled, mashallah, and I felt like their personalities were so developed, they were so mature, and I looked up to them like incredibly. It was amazing. And then when I started knowing more people from different departments, and I felt like wherever I went, I was surrounded by role models. And I feel like this is a very strong concept in Effat, creating ambassadors, creating role models, whether they are currently studying with you or they're from different departments, they're graduates, they're alumni. Even now, after I graduated from Effat, I religiously follow the Instagram and the Twitter of Effat University, and I always feel like, yes, this is exactly. Every time I see a post, every time I see a new event they're planning, I feel like, yes, this is where I come from. This is the root of where I am now. And I feel connected to Effat, even though it's been almost 8 years now that I've been out of it. So, but in regards to the point that Leena was saying, she didn't feel like she shined. I also struggled with that as well, but from the academic point of view, because I was never an A student, not even in high school, I was like, I always had a target. Like when I remember very vividly in the first semester in Effat, I told myself, I don't care what GPA I get as long as I don't go below 3. and just giving myself that space allowed me to not be very concerned with my academic with the GPA and my yes. But at the same time, seeing how Effat really appraises excellent students and seeing them being awarded Effat citizenship and the other awards, at some point that made me feel like, okay, Bushra, you're not doing much. So I did feel that I was not shining. But then when I think back to the 4 years in total, I shined in different places. I shined with SG a couple of times. I shined with the psychology club a couple of times. I shined, when you dissect it, yes, you might not feel like you were an Effat star. But when you go back and remember the little things that you were able to achieve, I believe that would make you feel like you did shine. And just the fact that you graduate from Effat, being an Effat graduate, an alumni, that by itself already gives you kind of a head start from other graduates, I believe. Because as I mentioned before, you graduate with a very holistic experience. You have a lot of skills that were built into you just by being an Effat student. So I'll always be grateful for the experience there.
Yeah, I think we praised Effat a lot today. They should be very happy after that, right? So guys,
can I
whoever
say
is
something?
listening, Yes, definitely. One thing, Miral, if anyone has any questions from the attendees, from the people who are watching us, please ask the girls any question you have. Go, Miral.
Okay, so like I agree with like everyone, and especially with what Bushra said. I definitely did not shine academically. I remember like as soon as I got into Effat, I was like, oh, let's do activities, let's do this. And I love how our professors were always like, they were always encouraging. Like they're like, yeah, go ahead, it's fine.
Patient, I think the word is.
Huh?
Patient, the word
They were
is.
patient. They were patient. They knew that this girl is gonna like, you know, ditch her class or whatever, but she's definitely not gonna get a DN or whatever it was. I forgot what it was called. And she'll do her assignments and stuff. But I remember like if it made it a culture, like someone mentioned that, you know, you started saying hi to everyone. Like I think it was Afnan, where people were saying hi to each other. And I still do that. It is so weird. I go to the mall, I don't know these people, and I will smile and say, hi, oh, you look so nice today or whatever. And they're just like, who is this freak show? Like, why is she talking to us? But if it just created that culture where it was just like, you know, you can be friends with anyone. Like I was friends with Mr. Ernie. I was friends with like Dr. Andrea, everyone, the secretary. I remember I'd go into Dr. Sana's office just to get a chocolate and just to say hi, and she'd tell you as it is. She'd be like, darling, I'm busy. And I was like, I know, I'm here for a chocolate. She's like, okay, go ahead. It was just, and I remember like, I academically, I was like, oh, I'm definitely struggling, and I was getting down like below a 3. And I went to our chair of department, Dr. Shahzad, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And he's just like, just do you, it's fine, it's not a problem. And I was like, no, but I don't want to do activities anymore. He's like, don't do it on campus, focus on classes. I didn't listen. I started interning at ACT, the therapy center, and that internship was supposed to be for a month. It went on for 18 months for me. I would finish classes and I would go to ACT, and I would stay there till 9 p.m. And everyone's just like, what's wrong with you? Like they weren't even paying me, but it was just such an experience. And I realized like if it taught me how to like balance everything, you know, academically, but like, you know, still whatsoever. And then they were ready to like make you excel. Like literally it's taught me to aspire to achieve. Like when I went to Pakistan for 2 years, and the way the people are with their professors, I'm like, just go talk to them. It's not a problem. I would do that with my professors. I still go to Effat and just say hi as if like I see them every single day. And I really like that culture about Effat. Like I don't think you'd find that anywhere else. So yeah.
But work-life balance, though, are you guys really
it.
doing work-life balance? I think this is a really important question. So how are you now in your careers, in your life? Do you feel that you really can balance things out, or is work-life balance is just a hoax? Who would like to say something?
I'll start. So I grew up with a hardworking mother who had maybe 18 books titled Work-Life Balance, Work-Life Balance, Work-Life Balance. But okay, so for me, I think after I've never had balance in my life, and I have like an obsessive personality. If I'm doing something, I overdo it. And I think after like graduating from Effat, I was really like I really needed to know who am I, and it felt like every decision I would take would matter. So it was like for 3 years I did nothing. I went to work, I came back from work, and I spent the entire time reading. I read about everything in the world. I read the whole human history. I read about politics and religion and everything. And I had to like I have a file called Life Manual. I had to write my own way of life to understand how do I want to live? What are my values? What, you know, I don't like money. Okay, so what is the exchange of money? How should the world function? So then after that, it was like career time for me. I found my career as a screenwriter, and I just plunged into it. Like I would wake up at like 5 a.m. and write until 9 a.m. and then go to work, and then finish at like 5 p.m., come home, and then continue writing and over again for like a few years. And now coming back, I'm just starting to see how I can have some work-life balance. I'm not there yet because I'm still working on finding I'm still working on finding my own company in the field. So I'm still doing a full-time job, working as a freelancer, and developing my own brand. But I have canceled out family time. I told them, call me when I'm 30. I have no time for you until then. But I
It
do
happens die hard, Afnan. This was you and SG and Effat all along.
but I do think that once you find yourself, the balance, this is my experience, once you find yourself, the balance will start to come, because I think you need to get to a point where you don't have to work so much for your career, because now everyone knows you for what you are. So you've already made it. So you don't have to chase opportunities anymore. They just come to you because you work that hard to put yourself in that position. So that's what I think about work-life balance. Like it's possible, but it's not like it comes on its time. You need to work for it.
I agree with you, Afnan. Now I'm working on 24/7 operational company where they don't sleep. You know, people are working like machines 24/7. Honestly, so but yeah, until you will figure out that the description of work-life balance from your perspective, then you will start apply it. Otherwise, you will never reach to your point. So yeah, 100% agree with you.
Bushra, I just want to say that maybe this is what Effat did to us, helped us to make us to build us as people who would be suitable to work, but then maybe did not really prepare us to be family people. Sorry, Effat, if they're hearing us. Maybe Dr. Hikam will be mad at me. But seriously, we're so addicted to working that maybe this is something that we need to work on.
I respectfully disagree with you. I don't think it has to do anything with Effat or with universities in general. I think this is something that is built in us within our culture. We have so many expectations when we graduate, especially when you graduate from a very strong university such as Effat. You are expected to excel right away. And this is not something that Effat has done to us. I don't believe so. It's just something. It's what comes with the name Effat. When you graduate from Effat, there's a very standard that comes with it. Expectations, exactly. And I believe for every graduate at the beginning of their career life, just like Afnan said, when you're establishing yourself, when you are showing people what you're made of and what you can do, then yes, the work-life balance might not be a priority, because you want to be there all the time. You want to be able to complete all the tasks even ahead of time, not just on the deadline. So maybe at the beginning of our careers, we all felt the lack of work-life balance. And as much as it's important, but the more you work on it, the more it will come. And just like also Lujan said, it's very, very important to identify what work-life balance means to you specifically, because some of us are family people, some of us are not really family people, some of us are more focused on creating ourselves and creating professionally, growing professionally. Some others have different. So it's very different from one person to another, and having the pressure of work-life balance looking a certain way is not something nice to hold on to. So because I'm sure, for example, work-life balance for me, what it looks like for me today is different from what it looked a year ago, and this is part of growth. This is part of the journey.
Yeah, and your priorities shift with time. So every time you have different priorities, and then you have to create that balance for these different priorities.
Exactly, and it depends where you are in life. So, for example, a year ago, I was still in my parents' home. So, from a family point of view, all I had to do is be at home. But right now, because I'm away from home and I'm here in Khubar in Dhahran, it's different. It looks different. I have to call them. I have to join the family Zoom meetings. I have to, so it's different. And once you become a little bit detached from your family, you start creating your own habits, your own activities, and that is also a part of work-life balance, realizing what gives you the balance.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I think I want to ask this question to our mother here, Hedaya, who has a beautiful daughter and she's working and she's juggling it all. So Hedaya, what does work-life balance looks to you?
I don't think I did anything major, but I think what mattered to me or what made it work for me was that my work or my boss was very understanding of my situation. So he allowed me to bring my daughter to work. She's currently running around, but so this was the environment I was in, like at work, at home. She was with me all the time because I don't believe in nannies, especially when you have only one or two kids. But I think I should manage them at least, since I have the time and I have the youth to and the patience. So I think what helped me was that the environment I was in was accepting of this trade-off that I had to do. And also one of the things that I'd like to agree with Bushra on is that Effat actually taught me to understand my family more, because when you deal with different people in Effat, you understand how to accept different people who act differently from you, who don't always agree with you. And this was usually the case for me with my family, because the family that we created at Effat is the family that you chose to be friends with. However, your actual family, you don't really get to choose them. So whatever personalities they have, whatever beliefs they have, you just have to live with it. So I think Effat helped me in this aspect to be able to understand my family more, overcome the differences that I had before. So I think it brought me closer to my real family, as well as, of course, to the Effat family.
Beautiful. Leena, you're an entrepreneur. You have now 3 businesses, and I'm sure you have your family engagements. How are you doing it?
I have to be honest, I don't have time at all. And listening to you guys now, I'm thinking like I really need to like make an effort, to just give them any time of the day, like even for 1 hour. But I can't. Like my mom today was telling me, just come and spend 10 minutes with us. And I was like, I can't. So then, and now after listening to you guys, I realized like, this is the things we need to push for. I need to make time. And it shouldn't be like an option, like a yes or no. I need to,
I think what's happening now around the globe with this coronavirus is that it's teaching us to have time.
Yeah.
Now we're in this forced quarantine. We all have to self-isolate, and we all have to find peace within the space that we're in. So I think for me, being here quarantined alone in Riyadh, it taught me that time is really important, and the only thing that is really valuable is time. And like I would trade anything. I wouldn't want to work just to go back now to my family, to Jeddah, to see my mom, to see my sister, being on the beach. Like I just miss these small things that I feel I took for granted, and just making the time for these memories and for these moments. So maybe I'll ask you guys, what are the things that you took for granted, and then with this quarantine you have realized that it was really important to you? What did the quarantine teach you?
I don't know if there was anything that I took for granted, but I know that aside from the virus, this lockdown has been the happiest thing that has ever happened to me.
For a writer, yes, for sure. I'm
yes,
sure.
I'm like, the whole world has stopped for me. For me, I'm actually really happy about it and really excited, because moving forward, يعني I will feel so empowered to get the stuff that I want to get done, because usually before the quarantine I give myself the excuse of like, oh, I don't have time, or you know, like I don't have the time to do this. If I only had the time, but yes, I do this, and so I give myself all these excuses. But moving forward, I really feel excited because I lived during a time where I had all the time in the world. So anyone, like any generation afterwards, would be like, I don't have time. I'm like, I understand. Once upon a time, I had all the time in the world. But I think it'll make me in the future. It'll make me like just, I don't know, like I have only the future to look forward to, because the past was this period of time that I had it for myself, and I did everything the way I wanted, and that's it. Like I did everything the exact way that I wanted it, and sometimes the results are good and sometimes they're bad, but like you just face yourself.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Anyone who would like to share some thoughts on what are you doing now in this lockdown? How are you feeling? Having all of this time,
I feel like
of it. Yeah.
something very important that I learned is that I really am in control of my time, because a lot of the times we say, oh, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 to complete before I can go to 5, and then we're kind of programmed to have like schedules and we're running from one thing to another, and you feel like you're not in control of your time. So having this much control on your time and how you spend it is kind of revolutionary to me. I'm picking up when I'm being lazy, and I'm picking up when I'm being just wasting my time in general. And that's okay. Sometimes we do need to waste our time and just disconnect and kind of be potatoes. But at the same time, I'm learning a lot because now with the lockdown, a lot of webinars, a lot of online classes are being offered for free, and a lot of courses. So for me, that's how I spend most of my time. Just taking the opportunity to learn more when I actually have the time to do so.
So I'll ask one more question. What's the first thing you guys will do after the quarantine and when the lockdown is over? What are you really looking forward to do?
Quit my job.
That was so unexpected, Meera. I hope
No,
that
it's honest. Like I mean, I like my work, but with this lockdown, I've realized, do you get me? Like what Bushra said, like you're in control of your own time. You're also in control of your own thoughts. Like you don't have, like, I would always say this in Effat as well and after, that I need deadlines to function. Because I have no deadline right now, and all my work was like field based, so I don't have work from home. But it's given me time to like reflect on what I'm doing and what I want to do. So I know that after this lockdown's over, I'm going to do the GRE and stop telling everyone that, oh, I'm going to do it at some point. No, I'm going to set myself, like I'm going to get the exam date and get my master's done, because it's getting like, it's taken a really long time, but I'm going to quit one of my jobs, not both, but one. So yeah. That's what I'm gonna do, and go to the counter. So whoever knows me from Effat knows that I really like that restaurant Once Upon a Time in its prime. But as a respect,
is it still in Malik Road? I think it's no longer.
No. It's moved. It moved under Amara Cafe, I think. So
okay.
Yeah. As a tribute.
Yes. What about you girls? What will you do after the quarantine? What's the first thing you're looking forward to do after the quarantine is over?
Book a flight to Jeddah.
Yeah, same here. And taking off days. Plus, I need to switch off.
I think I'll take 1 month off just to be with my family, with my friends on the beach, and not think about anything. I feel I do miss Jedda's vibes. يعني all of us went somewhere like else in life. We went to different cities, to different countries, and Jeddah always win, I think. Jeddah is the best.
I agree. I think this is a minimum requirement. Every one of us should do it, must do it.
Okay, so if there's if someone from the attendees would like to ask any question, you're welcome to. I just want to shout out to Arwa, who used to be part of our SG, to Masha'al Bakulka, who was an amazing SG member in 2012 and in the years afterwards. Nadal Madhoun as well, we miss you. I hope you're doing well. Omnia Ghazi as well, who was very active, and to all of our teachers who actually are tuning in. So to conclude this, I want you to say something to Effat, so we can conclude this get together. Is there a message that you would like to say to Effat? Maybe a thank you, I don't know. A message tributes to Effat.
I can start, okay. Being an Effat or being a student, a lot of people used to complain a lot about the studies, the assignments, the this and the that. But I can say, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I can say that Effat truly brought me to life. And it's not just the people that were there at the time and the friends that I made and all those things, but it was just, like the legacy of it. And I remember walking down that hallway where we have quotes from Khadija bint Khuwaylid and like all of the great women. And I used to walk there and read those quotes every single day. And I feel like I'm walking in the footsteps of great women before me. Effat is, forever will be, just one of like the greatest things that has ever happened to me. My journey there wasn't easy, and my journey after it was not easy, but it was like a little piece of heaven that I got to enjoy.
Beautiful. Leena?
I am very thankful for the experiences I had in Effat and for the people, especially those who are like you, Sarah. You always inspire us. Again, the ability that Effat gave us to work in real life experiences, I cannot be more thankful. It tells you more about yourself. And thank you again for this awesome opportunity where we can all like come together and discuss our journeys, which will inspire others, of course. So thank you.
Meral?
To Effat, I mean, Effat is definitely one of those places that I will always call home. And just looking at Bushra's background is, I'm remembering like all the times I've spent just walking around that area. I mean, there have been so many decisions that have been made while walking around that square and the red spot. And it's just awesome. Like, I'm glad that that my life after Effat was not all that easy. I mean, I had a different thing mapped out, but I'm glad that Effat also gave me the tools and resources to prepare and do a sort of crisis management every single time some sort of obstacle came about. So yeah, thank you. And a huge shout out to Dr. T. I know she's listening to this as well. So hi, Dr. T.
Bushra?
والله بالعربي الكلام يعجز. I'm speechless. Just like we all feel, Effat will and always will be, has been and always will be a part of us. It was our home, it was our community, it was our chosen family, as Hedaya said. I grew a lot on those in those 4 years, from an academic point of view, from a personal point of view, from friendships and leadership and everything that we talked about. I can't remember one experience I had in Effat that didn't teach me something, or I can't remember one event that didn't teach me something new or made me create new connections or discover something that I never knew I liked. So I'm forever thankful for Effat. And just like Lujan said in the beginning, whenever someone asks me, oh, where did you study? I'm like, Effat University. I never say Jeddah or I never say Saudi Arabia. It's always Effat University. And I always felt like I want to give back to Effat in any way that I can. And I was so happy, Sarah, that you reached out to us and gathered us to do this. And hopefully, through our conversations, some of the attendees got something out of it or benefited from it. And I just want to mention something really quick. Sarah, you actually gave me my first job. You forwarded my CV to the company there. And that's how I got my first job. And I'm forever thankful for you. You started my career. And so thank you for that. And that wouldn't have been possible if I didn't go to Effat with you. So thank you to Effat and thank to you, Sarah.
حبيبتي انت, don't mention it. You're amazing and you're one of the best psychology students I ever met, honestly, and you deserve everything beautiful that is happening to you. After Meral, oh my god, oh my god, only if we like okay, you guys, both of you are number one to me.
A very quick information, by the way, on Meral. Every single person on university thought that Meral is with she was on our year, but Meral was actually 2 years or 1 year younger than all of us in the psychology, but she somehow plugged herself with us and it was.
Can I say something about that? I remember I was walking with Bushra and Aya and Lujan, and everyone like walked on forward because they had history with Dr. Amal or something. And I wasn't part of that class. And I just turned around and Dr. Jannat said, come here. You're not going to graduate with your friends. And I thought, I was so threatened. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're not taking all your classes. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm actually taking more classes than my batchmates. And she's like, wait, aren't you in Bushra's batch? And that's how she identified it as Bushra's batch. I'm like, no, I'm like 2 years behind. I'm from 2012. She's like, oh, okay, never mind then. Like, forget about it.
I think losing one in Effat didn't know who Meral was. Honestly, everyone in Effat knew who Meral was, and you had your own impact in your own way, Meral.
Thank you. I just have one more quick thing to say. Effat did create a serious bond. Like, I remember when I first went to Pakistan, I didn't know anyone there. I mean, I had cousins, but they had their own lives. And I was really like desperate for a friend. And subhanAllah, there was this girl who was living 4 houses down. And she was confused, and she was also new from Riyadh, and she's like, where did you study? And I'm like, oh, I went to Effat University. Didn't even say Jeddah. And she's like, I went there for a semester, and we bonded because she knew Dr. T, she knew Dr. Sadiqa, she knew everyone. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's it. Thanks, Effat.
Lujan?
So having honestly Effat stamp in my heart before having it on my certificate or my degree or my resume, it's totally something different. So whenever I hear Effat, I hear an opportunity that I can participate for Effat or through Effat, I run away even without thinking, So even here in my current role, I went to the HR and told them, hey guys, how many Effatis do you have? And they were saying, yeah, we know we have a lot. I told them, then yalla, go and have something, a memo or whatever with Effat. Don't leave it to go, yani. And this is what we did. We talked to Effat, and we have a partnership now with Effat. So yeah, Effat built in us something. Basically Effat built ambassadors, So proud to be Effatis, and well, always have Effat in our heart before we having it on our resume or degrees.
It's beautiful. I second that. The loyalty that we all have to Effat is amazing, and it tells you something about the experience that we had in Effat and how much it meant to us. Hedaya, I think you're the last one to go.
Sorry. Yes.
one of the things that I always refer back to is me before Effat and me after Effat, because Effat was this transition period where it just completely changed me. Before Effat, I was this person who could do a lot of things, but a couple of things didn't even cross my mind to even try. One of those things was actually managing people. I never saw myself as a leader, and being in Effat actually forced me to become one. And one of the things that really helped me was a program called ذكريات by Khalid Al Faisal. I was one of the very selected lucky few who were able to get into the program. We were like over, I think, 1,500 applicants, and then in the end we were only 15 girls from Saudi University. So it was a very high selection program. And I came back from this program, which was around 6 months. 3 of those months were in, actually one of those months was in Singapore for a boot camp, and it was very highly intensive. I came back from that program, and immediately the semester after that, I was a leader of 3 clubs at the same time, and I also was holding a high position in the student government. So this actually showed me that I am able to be a leader. I just never saw myself into it. And aside from that, I gained also a lot of different skills, I built a very large network through the Effat family. And as I mentioned before, even after we leave Effat, we kind of take Effat along with us. And all of the network that we created in Effat actually still holds today. And I think the greatest example for that is us gathering right here and right now, because we graduated 5 or 6 years ago, but we're still in touch. And I think in a very short notice, we were able to collectively come together and share our experiences that we built over a couple of years. And hopefully those couple of years that we did live in Effat will have still a good impact on us for years to come.
Beautiful. I think I can sum up this gathering by saying that Effat indeed was a transformative experience for all of us. It's very meaningful. It have made us who we are today. All of you girls are women leaders in your communities, in your careers, in your profession, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm really happy that Effat gathered us at one point, and then here we are gathered again. Forever we will be loyal to Effat, and forever we will always be Effatis. With that, I'd like to thank you all girls for joining this gathering, and I would like to thank Effat for giving us this opportunity to have this get together many years after we graduated, and hopefully after this quarantine is over, we can reunite again in our yearly reunion, which we do miss this Ramadan. And I wish everyone to be safe and healthy, and take care of yourself. I think with that, we can say goodbye. Goodbye and good night everyone, and ادعوا لنا في التراويح وادعوا لنا في صلواتكم. الله يفك الأزمة والغمة ويجمعنا يا رب دائما على خير. مع السلامة. Thank you guys. Bye bye.